Good evening, and welcome to the Boys from the Baltic Star. Thank you so much for joining us. It is it is one of those nights where Luke's tenuous connection to the internet is not working properly today. Um, much as much as it is sad that we are without him, that also means we can't play Traveller tonight. So we are instead going to return to the love-hate relationship we have with these wonderful vintage torture machines called the Fighting Fantasy game books. Um, so first things first, I'm Ben, and tonight joining me is Ewan. How are you, Ewan?
Hello, Ben. I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well.
Excellent, excellent news. Um, we actually bumped into each other physically yesterday for a night of planning for a different kind of game altogether. It was enormous fun to sit around a table and drink in person rather than over the internet.
Mm.
But we've recovered from the actual quantities that we drank, and now and now we are raring to go with some of this. Now, a little bit of background. So this is a game book we've played before, and we've started the process of going back to just a few of the ones we played where things didn't quite go as we hoped.
Surely not.
Yeah, we revisited Warlock of Firetop Mountain because we played the second one in that series, the Return to Firetop Mountain, and we went back to Scorpion Swamp because that was a particular frustration for us.
Mm. Yes, indeed.
And then we picked on House of Hell because that one we actually died separately rather than together. And I feel at some point we have to revisit Island of the Lizard King because I think that's where we ended up dying in that peculiarly brutal, weakening way. You remember that?
Yes. The
That's
long
where we
drawn out.
discovered the rule about natural doors.
Mm.
Yes.
Indeed.
Stay away from natural doors. But one of the ones that we always go back to when we're talking about these is Trial of Champions. Trial of Champions, we died of cowardice, basically. It was a low point for us in these books. And Trial of Champions was in fact a sequel to this book, Deathtrap Dungeon. So before we have another go at Trial of Champions and try to not die of cowardice, I'm sure there are plenty of other ways we can die. Um, we did. We died of ducking. Thank you.
Mm.
Yes. So we're going to have another go at Deathtrap Dungeon. Now I seem to remember we did badly at this one, but didn't die of cowardice. I think this is the one we died of stupid, if I remember.
I mean that could be any number of the books, Ben. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
But yes, I do believe you're right.
So maybe this time we will avoid the dying of stupid, or try to anyway. Yes. Yes, I do agree. Ducking was an excellent and smart thing to do. It's just it got a shot full of arrows. It was bad as an outcome. I felt bad about
Mm.
that. And Socks, in answer to your question, the one where we died of volcano, we should actually go back to that one because dying of
Mm.
volcano was a bit spectacular. I think that was Starship Traveller,
Yeah,
ironically.
that was the sci-fi one, definitely. Yes.
Right. So this book was originally published in 1984, and this is in fact the 1984 edition. So we need to roll up some stats. So we do this the hard way. No messing about, and and we are probably doomed with this one. But yes, we will give it our best efforts, and we'll see what happens. We're about to find out how easy or hard, whether we're going to be playing this on easy or hard mode. So
That's always the worrying thing.
skill, stamina, and luck.
Yes, indeed.
To roll our skill, we roll 1d6 and add 6. And that's a 4 for me, not the worst start in the world.
Well, after a run of some very good skill rolls, that'll be a 1 for me.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
Not saying it's all on you, Ben, but it's all on you.
Excellent. That always works out well for us. Then for stamina, we roll 2 dice and add 12. Okay, that's gone a little bit worse. That's a 6.
Not as worse as mine. That's a 5.
Okay.
Not liking how this is shaping up so far.
No. And then finally, luck is 1d6 plus 6. Not so bad. That's a total of 11 for me on luck.
Mine is a 6.
Oh, wonderful.
So that is a 12 for now.
Yeah. Now, you know what I'm going to say next.
That horrible moment.
It's that horrible moment. I'm afraid we have to trim our stats by 4 points in total, any way we like, because there are 2 of us playing through together, and it's, not fair to the game balance if we were able to double team everything that we fight.
Although it does strike me now that not fair to the game balance isn't necessarily what was in mind when the writing of these books came to pass.
I mean,
I'm not complaining. I'm just an observation.
Yes, ironically, game balance is not necessarily our friend for the most part.
But it is a fair rule, to say the least. So
okay, so in order to help you here, I should tell you that we get 10 provisions for this game.
Ooh.
Which means stamina may be the one to take the hit. You can rest and eat at any time except when engaged in a battle, and a meal restores 4 stamina points. Okay. Not the most generous provisions we've ever had, but on the other hand, it could be worse. With that in mind, I am indeed going to hold on to my relatively high skill, really impressively high luck, and drop my stamina down to 14 in the hope that I will keep it about there by topping it up with provisions.
Yes. I am going to keep my my terrible skill exactly where it is.
Okay, yes.
Seeing as this is a Deathtrap Dungeon, I may do the same, and I may take it all off of my stamina and go to 13.
Okay.
And keep my luck at 12.
That's good. Now.
Can't be good, be lucky.
Yes. Now, we also have a potion with us.
Ooh.
So we can each take a potion, one which restores skill points, a potion of skill, a potion of strength, which restores stamina points, and a potion of fortune, which restores luck points and adds 1 to initial luck. It's been too long for me to actually remember what the right thing to do here is. because there may be a brutal skill check or something early on where you lose 3 skill or something. But
Mm.
I'm going to go with luck, I think, for my potion.
I am going to go with a potion of something. Let's go with a potion of skill because I never pick a potion of skill, and my skill is awful.
Okay.
I've got lots of provisions for stamina, and my luck is not bad.
All right. I follow the logic. Yeah. You've if your skill does take a hit, you're definitely going to need to restore it back to its original.
Yes.
Okay. Now, on that basis, I think we are ready to go. So, despite its name, Fang was an ordinary small town in the northern province of Chiang Mai. Situated on the banks of the River Kok, I did not write this, it made a convenient stopover for river traders and passengers throughout most of the year. A few barges, rafts, and sometimes even a large sailboat could usually be found moored at Fang. But all that was long ago, before the creation of the Trial of Champions. Now once a year the river is crammed with boats, as people arrive from hundreds of miles around, hoping to witness the breaking of an ancient tradition in Fang and see a victor in the Trial of Champions. On the 1st of May each year, warriors and heroes come to Fang to face the test of their lives. Survival is unlikely. I think we can attest to that.
Mm.
Yet many take the risk, for the prize is great, a purse of 10,000 gold pieces and the freedom of Chiang Mai forever. However, to become champion is no easy task. Some years ago, a powerful baron of Fang called Succumbit, again, didn't write this, decided to bring attention to his town by creating the ultimate contest. With the help of the townspeople, he constructed a labyrinth deep in the hillside behind Fang, from which there was only one exit. The labyrinth was filled with all kinds of deadly tricks and traps and loathsome monsters. Succumbit had designed it in meticulous detail so that anybody hoping to face its challenge would have to use their wits as well as weapon skill. When he was finally satisfied that all was complete, he put his labyrinth to the test. He picked 10 of his finest guards, and fully armed they marched into the labyrinth. They were never seen again. The tale of the ill-fated guards soon spread throughout the land, and it was then that Succumbit announced the first Trial of Champions. Messengers and news sheets carried his challenge: 10,000 gold pieces and the freedom of Chiang Mai forever to any person surviving the perils of the labyrinth of Fang. The first year, 17 brave warriors attempted the walk, as it came to be known. Not one reappeared. As the years passed and the Trial of Champions continued, it attracted more and more challengers and spectators. Fang prospered and would prepare itself months in advance for the spectacle it hosted each May. The town would be decorated, tents erected, dining halls built, musicians, dancers, fire eaters, illusionists, and every sort of entertainer hired, and entries registered from hopeful individuals intent on making the walk. The last week of April found the people of Fang and its visitors in wild celebration. Everybody sang, drank, danced, and laughed until day broke on the 1st of May, when the town thronged to the gates of the labyrinth to watch the first challenger of the year step forward to face the Trial of Champions. Having seen one of Succumbit's challenges nailed to a tree, you decide that this year you will attempt the walk. For the last 5 years, you've been attracted to it, not for the rewards, but for the simple fact that nobody has ever yet emerged victorious from the labyrinth. You intend to make this the year in which a champion is crowned. Gathering up a few belongings, you set off immediately. 2 days' walk takes you west to the coast, where you enter the cursed Port Blacksand. Wasting no time in that city of thieves, you buy your passage on a small boat sailing north to where the River Cock meets the sea, and from there you take a raft upriver for 4 days until finally you arrive in Fang. The trial begins in 3 days' time, and the town is in an almost hysterical mood of excitement. You register your entry with the officials and are given a violet scarf to tie around your arm, informing everyone of your status. For 3 days you enjoy Fang's greatest hospitality and are treated like a demigod. During the long merriment, you almost forget your purpose in Fang, but the evening before the trial, the magnitude of the task ahead begins to dominate your thoughts. Later, you are taken to a special guest house and shown to your room. There is a splendid 4-poster bed with satin sheets to help you rest, but there is little time left for sleep. Just before dawn, a trumpet call awakens you from vivid dreams of flaming pits and giant black spiders. Minutes later, there's a knock on your door and a man's voice rings out saying, "Your challenge begins soon. Please be ready to leave in 10 minutes. You climb out of bed, walk over to the window and open the shutters. Already, people are thronging the streets, moving quietly through the morning mist. Spectators on their way to the labyrinth, no doubt, hoping to find good vantage points from which to watch the competitors. You turn away and walk over to a wooden table on which your trusty sword lies. You pick it up and cut the air with a mighty sweep, wondering what beasts its sharp edge may soon have to meet. Then you open the door into the corridor. A small man with slanted eyes greets you with a low bow as you emerge from your bedroom. "Please follow me," he says. He turns to his left and walks quickly towards the stairs at the end of the corridor. Leaving your guest house, he darts down narrow alleyways between houses, and you have to walk quickly to keep up with him. Soon you come to a wide dirt road filled with cheering crowds. When they see your violet scarf, they cheer even louder and start showering you with flowers. The long shadows cast by the people in front of you shrink as the bright yellow sun rises higher in the morning sky. Standing there in front of the noisy and vibrant crowd, you feel strangely alone, aware of your coming ordeal. Suddenly you feel a tug on your shirt and see your small guide eagerly beckoning you to follow him. Ahead you see the looming hillside and the dark mouth of a tunnel disappearing into its inner depths. As you get closer, you notice 2 great stone pillars on either side of the tunnel entrance. The pillars are covered with ornate carvings, writhing serpents, demons, deities, each seeming to scream a silent warning to those who would pass beyond them. You see Baron Succumbit himself standing by the entrance, waiting to greet the contenders in the Trial of Champions. You count 5 others standing proudly in line, their violet scarves displayed for all to see. There are 2 bare-chested barbarians dressed in furs. They stand completely motionless, legs straight and slightly apart, arms thrust forward to rest on the hilts of their long double-bladed battle axes. A sleek elven woman with golden hair and feline green eyes is adjusting the crossbelt of daggers wrapped around her leather tunic. Of the 2 remaining men, one is covered from head to toe in an iron plate armour with plumed helmet and a crested shield. The other is cloaked in black robes, only his dark eyes showing between the swathes of his black face scarves. Long knives, a wire garrote, and other silent death weapons hang from his belt. The 5 contenders acknowledge your arrival with almost imperceptible nods of the head, and you turn to face the exultant crowd for the last time. Suddenly, a hush falls over the crowd as Baron Succumbit steps forward, holding 6 bamboo sticks. You draw one from his outstretched hand and read the word 5th. Then the trial begins. The knight is first. He salutes the crowd before disappearing into the tunnel, and is followed half an hour later by the elf. Next goes the barbarian, and then the dark assassin. Now it's your turn to salute the crowd. Holding your violet scarf aloft, you take one final deep breath of cool, fresh air before turning to pass between the stone-pillared gateway into Succumbit's corridors of power, to face unknown perils on the walk through the mighty Baron's Deathtrap Dungeon. Well, there's nothing ominous there.
No, certainly not.
So, best bit of news. It starts with a door.
That is good news.
Clearly, that's an excellent... So, nothing can go wrong from here.
No.
Okay, here we go. The clamour of the excited spectators gradually fades behind you as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern tunnel. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-metre intervals, radiating a soft light just enough for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become accustomed to the near darkness, you begin to see movement all around. Spiders and beetles crawling up and down the chiselled walls disappear quickly into cracks and crevices as they sense your approach. Rats and mice scurry along the floor ahead of you. Droplets of water drip into small pools with an eerie plopping sound which echoes down the tunnel. The air is cold, moist and dank. After walking slowly along the tunnel for about 5 minutes, you arrive at a stone table standing against the wall to your left. On it there are 6 boxes, one of which has your name printed on its lid. If you wish to open the box, turn to 270. If you prefer to continue, turn to 66. I mean, clearly, a box is a door.
Certainly the lid is. Yeah.
Yeah. This book was written by Ian Livingstone. I'm hoping he's kind enough to not kill us literally at paragraph 1. Okay, we're going to open the box?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, we open the box and we turn to 270.
We're in a room, aren't we? Sorry, Ben.
Right. Yes, at the end of the sort of entrance went north and then we're in a room with a table in it.
Oh, wonderful.
The lid of the box lifts off easily. Inside you find 2 gold pieces and a note written on a small piece of parchment addressed to you. 2 gold pieces is good. That's a good start. Excellent. After placing the gold in your pocket, you read the message, which says, "Well done. At least you have the sense to stop and take advantage of the token aid given to you. Now I can advise you that you will need to find and use several items if you hope to pass triumphantly through my Deathtrap Dungeon." Signed, Succumbit. Memorising the advice on the note, you tear it into tiny pieces and continue north along the tunnel. It doesn't tell us what these several items are, though. So, when you say you memorise the advice on the note. The advice on the note, as far as I can tell, was, "Well done for opening the box. You'll need to find and use items."
You need some stuff. Wow.
It doesn't require an enormous amount of memorisation, to be honest. Okay, so you tear it into tiny pieces and continue north along the tunnel. We turn to 66. After walking down the tunnel for a few minutes, you come to a junction. A white arrow painted on one wall points west. On the floor, you can see wet footprints made by those who entered before you. It's hard to be sure, but it looks as though 3 of them followed the direction of the arrow, while 1 decided to go east. If you wish to head west, or east, basically. So, essentially, we can go west or east. The arrow points west. And most of our competitors so far, we don't know about the one behind us, of course, seem to have followed the arrow. So what do you think?
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. There's an arrow. But I am one for taking the road less travelled.
Okay, I like that logic. Except I read that poem.
well, yes. Oh, yes.
And when he said, it made all the difference, what he meant is it ruined his life, right?
I think that's subjective, Ben, really.
I have no particular preference, so if you prefer east, that's fine.
Yeah, well, no, I don't mind. I think at this point, none of them made it out, so this clearly isn't the defining decision.
Probably not. Okay, so let's go east. I mean, how bad can it be? That feels like a really dumb question to ask suddenly, doesn't it? Okay, we will go east, and that means we turn to 119. Yes, 119. Ahead you can see a large obstruction on the tunnel floor, though it is too dark to make out exactly what it is. The wet footprints you've been following carry on towards the obstruction. We can continue, or turn back and head west. I guess.
I'm always weary when it gives us an option to turn back because many a time we've ignored it and been punished.
Usually to our peril, yes. Do you think that's what this one is? Like, do you really want to see how bad it can be?
Well, that's the problem, is that part of me knows it's coming, and the other part of me just really wants to find out if it is actually coming. And so always wants to follow through and just keep pushing.
Also, there is another thing, which is, remember, in this book's sequel, we did die of cowardice.
Well, yes, that's true. That is very true. But I don't remember us dying of cowardice in this one.
No.
Although we could have just gone west, to be fair.
Maybe.
Your call, Ben. East was my choice, so I feel as though you can decide whether we go on or whether we turn back. And then if we do go on and die, it's both of our decisions.
It is, you're right.
Or if we turn back, then it's fine.
You know what? Purely for that reason, because it'll be more equitable that way, I think we continue on to the obstruction and at least find out what it is and if we can get past it, or,
Okay.
So, yes, we will continue east, and this will probably be very quick death, but we will turn to 56 to continue east. You see that the obstruction is a large, brown, boulder-like object. You touch it with your hand and are surprised to find that it's soft and spongy. If you wish to try to climb over it, or slice it open with sword. You see, now I want to go west. But it doesn't give us that option anymore.
One chance to turn back.
Yeah.
Slice and run is seems like solid advice.
Okay, so do we climb over it or do we slice it? I mean, Ed thinks slicing is the way to go. Actually, he says slice and run, which we don't know will be an option. It's intact, though, right? So whoever went this way didn't cut it.
That's true.
But it is soft. And maybe it wasn't here when they came. I mean, if it's a living thing or whatever. Yeah.
And climb and sink
Climb and sink sounds bad.
is a real possibility.
It does sound like the way we normally die in these things. Trying to be too clever. I can't decide. What do you think?
Let's use the sword.
Okay, we will slice it open with the sword. Turn to 215. Your sword easily pierces the thin outer casing of the giant spore ball. A thick brown cloud of spores bursts out of the ball and envelops you. Some of the spores stick to your skin and start to itch terribly. Great lumps come up on your face and arms, and your skin feels as if it's on fire. Lose 2 stamina points. Okay. Frantically scratching your itching lumps, you step over the now deflated spore ball and head east. Turn to 13. Well, okay, it wasn't great, but we've had worse.
We certainly have. We have.
The tunnel makes a sudden turn to the left and heads north for as far as you can see. The footprints you're following start to peter out as the tunnel becomes gradually drier. Soon you're beyond the dripping roof and the pools on the floor. You notice the air becoming hotter, and you find yourself panting even though you're walking quite slowly. In a small recess on the left-hand wall, you see a section of bamboo standing on its end. Lifting it down, you see that it's filled with a clear liquid. Your throat is painfully dry, and you feel a little dizzy from the heat in the tunnel. We can drink the liquid, or not risk drinking the liquid and continue north. I mean,
it does say it's bamboo.
Yeah.
Not a bamboo-like plant, right?
Yeah, so the plant's probably not a problem. It's just if they put something evil in it, you know? Which they might have done. But if you're right, I mean, it could just be water or, you know, something. I mean, it could be an antidote to spores, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, I think we should drink because we've already stuck our sword in something. We're going for bold this time rather than cowardly.
I mean, drinking doesn't sound like us, but sure, Ben. Let's do it.
Okay. We will drink the liquid. Turn to 147. 147. The water in the bamboo pipe is welcomingly refreshing. Add 1 stamina point. Oh, that's good.
That is good.
It also contains a magical solution which will enable you to be exposed to melting point temperatures without harm. Oh, very good. Discarding the bamboo, you set off north again in good spirits. Oh, this is excellent. Okay, right, we are immune to heat. That's excellent.
That is good news.
Excellent. I will make a note of that just in case it comes up later, because it might. But
Hopefully not. But
okay.
who knows?
So we set off north in good spirits. Turn to 182. Excellent. Okay, the temperature continues to rise, and you find yourself dripping with sweat. As you struggle on, the heat intensifies until it feels like white heat and becomes so unbearable that you begin to pass out. If you drank the liquid from the bamboo pipe, turn to 25. Yes, we did. Yes, we did indeed. So 25 is good.
That is good news.
Although the temperature in the tunnel is higher than you would normally tolerate, the liquid from the bamboo pipe keeps you alive. Turn to 197.
Good choice, Ben. Good choice.
Happy with this one so far?
Yeah.
Mercifully, the temperature now starts to drop rapidly, and soon it feels almost cool again. On the left-hand side of the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which might possibly slide open. So we can try to open the door, try to slide the iron plate, or continue north up the tunnel. Well, I mean, it's a door, right?
Yeah. So let's.
So the question is, do we just open it, or do we try and slide the iron plate first?
Good question. I mean, we might as well try and have a look at what's inside, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, extra information shouldn't hurt us, though there was one where reading something cursed you, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that won't happen. Yeah, we'll at least open the iron plate first and then open the door. 156. Let's at least find out what's waiting for us.
Is a door.
The iron plate is itself a door, yes.
Doors within doors.
The small plate slides open easily, and you find yourself peering into a room with a deep pit in the floor behind the door. On the opposite wall there are two iron hooks, on one of which hangs a coil of rope. We can open the door, jump over the pit and take the rope, or just continue north along the tunnel. I mean, it seems to say you can just open the door, jump over the pit and take the rope.
That is how you read it, Ben.
That is what it said, and
we do need items.
We do need items,
complete this dungeon.
That sounds lovely. It sounds like a thing we need to do.
And the door is still a door.
It's still a door.
Rightfully points out.
And so we have to open it anyway. So I think we need the rope, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we turn to 208. The door swings open into the room and you step back and jump over the pit. You put the rope in your backpack and jump back over the pit to leave the room and head north. Turn to 326. Well, so far it's going brilliantly.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So we now have rope. Rope is a good thing. We might need that.
Yeah, I can see that coming in handy.
This is absolutely a cakewalk. You're right. Look at this. We're absolutely flying through this. Ahead, you see that the tunnel turns sharply to the left. You turn the corner and almost bump straight into two fierce-looking orcs armed with morning stars and wearing leather armour. You're totally unprepared, and as you draw your sword, one of them swings its morning star at you. Okay, we have to roll a die, and if it's a 1 or a 2, do one thing, a 3 or a 4, do another thing, and a 5 or a 6, do another thing. We have no idea what's good. So, I can't remember whose turn it is to do anything.
You go first, Ben.
Okay.
After you.
I mean, it doesn't enormously matter. It's just roll a die. So, okay, that's a 1. That can only be brilliant news.
Yep.
On my duck dice. So it is a 1 or a 2. We turn to 91.
You're using the duck dice.
I am. Yes, I'm using duck dice and my Christmas dice. Oh, okay. This cat needs to save us, I think. Right. The orc's
don't go on the
morning
keyboard.
star thuds into your arm, knocking your sword to the floor.
Oh,
You must fight them barehanded, reducing your skill by 4 for the duration of the combat.
wow.
Fortunately, the tunnel is too narrow for both orcs to attack you at once. Fight them one at a time, but when we encounter that, we always fight them in parallel.
Yeah.
So, okay, their stats are slightly different, and I don't want to sort of game the system. So, would you like the first orc or the second orc?
I shall take the. I generally go odd, don't I? So I'll take the first orc.
Okay.
Please, then.
It has stats of skill 5, stamina 5. Okay, and we are fighting at -4 on our skill.
Yes, indeed, which puts my skill at a mighty 3.
Wow. Okay. Now, my orc has less stamina, but it has more skill. So, we will see where we go. So, my first attack. That is a 10 for me. The orc has rolled a 5. It has lost 2 stamina.
Ooh. Right. Be good to me, dice. Ooh, that is a 10 on the dice for 13. Which bodes well.
Excellent.
And the orc has rolled a 6 for an
Oh,
11.
fantastic. You've knocked it down to 3 stamina. Isn't that brilliant? Good start. Right.
That is a good start. Long may it continue.
This start has now come to an end. I've rolled a 2.
Wow.
What are the odds of that? So's the orc.
Oh.
Which means we are tied. No damage done either way. That was very lucky.
Not bad, not bad. That's an 8 on my dice for a grand total of 11.
Okay.
This has to be bad. And that is an 8 for the orc as well for 13. So
Okay.
I dropped down.
That's going to cost you a couple of stamina.
10.
Right. I'm going to attack as best I can with my bare fists. Oh, this is getting silly now. That's 2 from me.
Is that 3 2s in a row?
Yeah. And the orcs rolled a 7. So unfortunately, that is enough to knock me down by 2 stamina.
Oh. This is not going well. It's a 9 plus 3 for a 12 for me.
Okay.
Oh, and would you believe it? A different 9, but a 9 for the orc. So we shall go to 8.
These orcs
definitely getting into
are tough when you're fighting at -4. Okay, that's a bit better for me. I have, pull it out from here, I've rolled an 8. And the orc has rolled a 5. It is done. The orc is dead.
Wonderful. Come and save me, Ben. A 10 for a 13. And the orc rolls a 3.
Oh, fabulous.
Which is not 13, that is 8.
Is it still up?
It is on 1.
Excellent. Then I think we should both attack it at once.
Yeah, it seems like a good idea at this point. I'm going to be honest.
I have rolled a 10.
Mine is a 6 for a 9 total.
Okay. All right. And how's your orc doing?
The orc has rolled a 10 for a 15 total.
Okay. So that's... I've killed it.
Yeah.
Because my 10 put me on 16. But the question is, did it hit you or me? Do you want to be... You're usually odds, aren't you?
I normally am, yes.
Yeah.
I'm normally odd.
That's a 2, so it went for me. Which means it didn't do any further damage to us, and both orcs are dead.
Oh, good news.
Okie dokie. If you win,
Good news
turn
indeed.
to 2, 5, 7. Okay. Inside one of the orc's pockets, you find 1 gold piece and a hollow wooden tube. Okay. That could be very useful. I mean, I don't know why, but it could be a breathing tube or a flute or anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we do anything else, I think, even though I've only lost 3, I'm going to burn a provision.
Yeah, I am definitely going to burn a provision.
And get myself back up to 14 stamina.
Good call. I'm going to use 1 and go to 12. So only 1 off my max. But I think that's a very sensible choice at this point.
Yes. Okay. So we set off west and turn to 164. As you walk along, droplets of water again start falling from the tunnel ceiling. You see wet footprints made by the same boots that you followed earlier heading west. The footprints lead to a closed iron door in the right-hand wall of the tunnel, but do not seem to go any further. We can open the door or keep going west. Well, I feel it's a door.
It certainly is.
Yeah, apparently same footprints. So obviously he didn't encounter the same orcs, which presumably means he doesn't have a wooden tube.
Yeah.
On the other hand, he might have 10 provisions still, so who knows? Or possibly she, because one of them was a female elf, weren't they?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. I feel it's completely out of our hands. It's a door. We have to open the door.
Those are the rules.
So we have to open the door and turn to 299. Not wild about it being an iron door, but, you know. Okay. The door opens into a large chamber, where you are shocked to see one of your rivals, who's obviously met a sudden gory death.
Oh, good.
It's one of the barbarians, and he's impaled on several long iron spikes, which are fixed to a frame that has sprung out of the floor. A lot of rubbish and debris litters the floor, concealing a hidden tripwire, which he must have stepped on and released the spiked frame. In the far wall is an alcove, in which you can see a silver goblet standing on a small wooden table. So our choices are go over and search the barbarian, walk towards the alcove, or close the door and continue west. I mean, he's already tripped one of the tripwires. That doesn't mean there isn't another one.
Mm.
Um,
No, the cat is too busy trying to sit on my dice or walk on my keyboards at this particular moment in time. You're very needy, aren't you?
it's suddenly become a cat stream, of course.
Mm.
Very sweet cat, though. Very sweet cat. Okay. Search Barbarian, alcove, or close the door and continue. Well, we've got to search something, haven't we? We need things. We've come all this way.
Yeah, it's true. We were told we need things. So let's
Do
get
we
some
search the
things.
barbarian in case he found something useful? Because, for example, he might have been given a different note or a different instruction, or he might have found something else that's useful.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, he was obviously tempted by the cup, and so am I. To be honest, the silver cup sounds like something useful. What do you think?
Quite often it lets us do both, but that's not always a guarantee, is it?
It isn't. Do you have?
Especially if you die.
Do you actually have a preference as to which one you want?
No, you choose.
Let's do them in paragraph order in case that changes whether or not we get to do the second one. So we will search the barbarian, assuming we don't die trying to get there.
Yeah.
Turn to 126. Search barbarian 126. Despite the fact he's basically naked, he might be hiding something. The pouch on the barbarian's belt is empty apart from some strange-looking dried meat wrapped in a cloth. We can eat the meat, leave the meat and walk over to the alcove if we haven't done so already, or leave the chamber and head west. Well, there are a couple of benefits here. The fact that you can go to the alcove if you have not done so already presumably means that it's not instant death.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not licking the meat sucks.
We're not eating the dried meat?
Well, I'm not licking it.
No.
It could be provisions.
I'm fully stocked, actually. There's probably no benefit unless it has magical powers or something.
Yeah. I'll eat it then, if you don't want to.
No, I think we'll go ahead and give it a try. I mean, what the hell? It's paragraph 226 we turn to, and I'm sure nothing bad has ever happened at paragraph 226.
No, Sock seems to think it's a really good idea, which...
Okay.
I'm beginning to question their judgment, but it's only the beginnings, so...
The meat contains herbs which will increase your strength. Add 3 to your stamina score. Ironically, that's exactly what I needed, rather than the full 4 from the provisions.
Oh, that's brutal.
It is.
I get 1 from it, so
that's definitely worth doing then. You may either walk over to the alcove if you've not done so already, or leave the chamber. I think it's now genuinely prompting us to go to the alcove. It wants us to go to the alcove.
Which means that we definitely shouldn't go to the alcove. But here we are.
We have to go to the alcove just in case it's a thing we need. 41. 41, alcove. Okay. You walk slowly over to the alcove, carefully checking the floor for any more hidden traps.
Good.
You see that the goblet contains a sparkling red liquid. So we can drink the liquid, leave the goblet, and go back to search the barbarian. No, we've done that. And leave the chamber and
Mhm.
continue west. So our choices are drink or not drink.
It's tough because it's been a good room to us so far. And I'm worried that that's going to change.
That's
But I
the thing.
do also like a sparkling red wine, it must be said.
Yeah. And, we're fully stocked on stamina.
That's true.
And
That's
barbarians know where it's at, and he wanted to get to the cup, right?
true. As long as we don't lose more than 3, then we've got a net gain, which is good.
Okay, let's try drinking it. I mean, this could be a terrible, terrible choice, but
It really could be.
a goblet can be a door. We will turn to 98.
This is normally where Ben says, "Oh no," and then I have to listen to him read how we die.
Oh no. It's not necessarily bad,
Okay.
but it probably is. Lifting the goblet releases a sprung catch, and a dart shoots out of the wooden table leg. Test your luck.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to roll a die to see which of us tests luck, because we're either both going to have to succeed or fail, obviously.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was a 4, so I will test my luck.
Okay.
I rolled a 9, which is indeed less than or equal to my current luck of 11, so that becomes 10, and we are lucky. We are lucky. Turn to 105.
Nicely done, Ben.
Your reflexes are sharp, and you quickly jump aside. The dart whistles past, only just missing you, and thuds into the opposite wall. You see the goblet lying on the floor and the red liquid running away in rivulets over the grey stone. At least the goblet may be of use, so you put it in your backpack. Okay, so we've got a silver goblet.
Silver goblet, hollow wooden tube, some rope, 3 gold pieces.
Yes.
Plus the provision and potions.
And we're completely immune to heat.
Which is good.
If that ever turns up again. Excellent. Our remaining choices are search barbarian or leave and continue west. So we've searched the barbarian. We will turn to 83. Leave and continue west. So that didn't actually go horribly badly for us, that room.
No. It's time to resplend, Ben, in our glory. and the redeemed points.
To resplend like Bast. Okay. There you go. Some resplending for you. Also, it's a good time for me to take a glug of wine. Thank you. Okie dokie. So, the passage soon leads to a junction. You notice more footprints on the floor, possibly as many as 3 pairs heading north from the south passage. You decide to follow them. Okay, so essentially, whatever horrors were to the west at the entry, where all of those people went, they obviously now came north past this T-junction, which we're joining from the right.
Yes, that makes sense.
And clearly the book has decided that we don't get to go south and explore what they explored from the other side. So, which is not uncommon in these books, to be honest. So we now have to go north.
There are a couple, but not many.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if hollow wooden tubes, ropes, and silver goblets are as useful as what you find the other side, but honestly, I'm not I'm not too worried about our haul. I think we did okay going east.
Yeah, I'm a provision down, but still at max stamina, which is good.
Yeah.
And we gained a gold piece, some rope, hollow wooden tube, and a silver goblet.
I think we're doing well. So far
Yeah.
this is an absolutely joyous, easy one. It's obviously the way it goes. Okay, so we decide to follow them and turn north. We go to 37.
Apparently, our cameras have also moved, Ben. Sorry to.
Oh, have they?
Yes, indeed. Maybe it's lucky. Maybe that's why we're doing so well. Is because we've hidden our faces.
Ah, yes. 1 second. Let me try and find where Ewan belongs. Is that close? Bit further over and a little bit further down, I think. Like that, maybe? Still a bit further over. Okay. Something like there, I think, for Ewan. No, we can probably do even a little smidgen more. There we go. Let's try that. And see if that works. Okay. You good?
Yep. Thanks.
Excellent. I think we're there.
Cool.
Thank you very much for letting us know. Appreciate that.
Definitely.
Right. Okay, we decide to follow them to the north. We turn to 37, which is probably brilliant. 37. Got to be a good number. Bad things don't happen at 37.
You sound very confident about that, Ben.
Ah.
It sounds like there's a story behind the number 37.
Yeah, probably. The passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the centre of the cavern, standing approximately 6 metres high. It has jewelled eyes, each as big as your fist. There are 2 giant, stuffed, bird-like creatures standing on either side of the idol. We can climb the idol to take the jewels, or walk through the cavern to the other side. And there's a tunnel out, apparently, that side. So, it's entirely possible I said this the last time we played through this, but isn't that basically the cover art from the original Player's Handbook? People trying to pry the jeweled eyes out of a huge idol.
Yeah. It's definitely not the plot of any kind of movie where adventuring in tombs and traps are involved.
I mean, obviously the jewels could turn out to be essential and useful and something we really need, but the risk of taking them is pretty high. So what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'll be honest.
I'm just worried if we need them at the end. Bearing in mind we did die of cowardice the last time we played this.
Maybe we've reached the end. Maybe these are the treasure. Maybe they're worth 5,000 gold pieces each, and that's the 10,000 gold.
This is what you win.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm slightly worried about the stuffed bird-like creatures as well.
Yes, that's the more concerning thing, I think.
On the other hand, stuffed bird-like creatures, if they're stuffed, should be fairly easy to kill, right?
It depends what they're stuffed with.
I guess so.
Stuffing, yes. Dynamite, no.
Okay, what do you reckon? Are you saying let's skip the eyes altogether, or do you want to take the risk?
I don't know. You choose, Ben. I could go either way on this one.
I'll tell you what. Let's roll a die.
Mm.
1, 2, or 3. We will keep going past the statue and ignore everything. That is a 4.
Good news. We're going to find out
Potentially.
what the statue does.
Okay, we will climb the statue to take the jewels. Turn to 3, 5, 1. This could be bad. This could be very, very bad. On the other hand, it could be brilliant. The idol is very smooth and will be difficult to climb. Do you have any rope? Yes, we do. We turn to 396. Okay.
I like it when things involve us needing an object. I feel a lot more confident about the outcome.
Yes, indeed.
It is noted, Socks, that this was against your advice as well.
Yes.
Duly noted.
Yeah. Thank you, Socks. I mean, and as always, for your stalwart support in these moments of tension.
Definitely not saying I told you so. It's always appreciated.
Yeah. Okay. You make the rope into a lasso, whirl it above your head, and throw it over the idol's head, smiling happily as it falls around its neck. Then tighten the noose and start to climb, hauling yourself up the rope. You're soon at the top of the idol, sitting on the bridge of its nose and holding onto the rope. You draw your sword and wonder which jewelled eye to prize out first. So, do we pick left or right?
Oh.
Clearly, I have no information here that can make any difference. This might as well be a toss of a coin.
Yeah. Let's go right.
Go right? Okay,
Yeah.
we will turn to 34.
Purely because the right-hand path leads to the rope.
Good point.
Not that that makes any difference, but it makes me feel better about the choice. And Sock says right, so it must be good advice.
Okay. All right. So, 34. You try to force the point of your sword under the emerald eye. Much to your surprise, the emerald shatters on contact, releasing a jet of poisonous gas straight into your face.
Oh, good.
The gas knocks you out, and you release the rope, bounce down the idol, and crash onto the stone floor. Your adventure ends here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
That was so brutal.
I thought perhaps the birds might come to life.
Yeah.
And there'd be a battle.
Oh my god. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to quickly check to find
What
out
happens
what
if
on
we-
earth happens if we pry the left eye. Rope 396 for rope. Left eye was 151, because this could kill us just as brutally, you understand.
Yes, indeed.
Just curious if there was a way to win this one, or we were doomed as soon as we climbed. Okay, the birds unsurprisingly come to life, and and Yeah, yeah. It's then a fight. Um, and while we might have won that fight, they are quite tough based on their stats.
Hmm. And let's be honest, we might have just gone for the right eye after the left one anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
so, so we could very much be in the same situation.
Yes. Maybe. Okay. Yes. I think we did ultimately leave it up to the dice, and they did us wrong. But also, given that in the return to this dungeon we died of cowardice, I think I was nervous at leaving things behind that we might end up needing.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. And we were bold. I think the lesson we learned is to listen to chat.
I think ultimately Socks and Slayer both said very clearly, "Do not touch the eye."
Yeah, 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 yeah. So honestly, it's the problem with these books. You know that it's coming, and yet still, you just want to find out, just want to make sure, test and see what happens.
Yeah,
Although it was really off-putting. Like, do you have a rope? It's really smooth. Do you have a rope? Like,
yeah.
so picking up the object essentially killed us because I assume if we didn't have a rope, we wouldn't have been able to climb the smooth statue.
Maybe actually, or maybe it just made it more difficult. Or I mean, it's possible you'd have had to test your luck or something to get up there.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
Yeah. Yes. And yes, Socks. After 96 books, we still haven't learnt a thing. Um, I mean, I think you're right. We have actually learnt things. We just ignore the
Mm.
things we've learnt.
Yeah, yeah. We just know what's coming now to a certain degree.
And it is literally the book is literally called Deathtrap Dungeon. So you do know what you're
Most
getting.
things, yeah, 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 yep, yep. That is very true. I can't remember where we got to last time with this one, if I'm honest.
I don't remember where or when it happened, but I know we died, and I
Mm.
know we were killed. I think in a sort of was there a like a rough tunnel which looked like it was made by a creature, and it was big enough to like walk
Um,
down,
and
and
we walked down
and
it.
for some reason we decided to walk down it,
Mm.
and then I think it said something like, "Are you sure you wish to continue down this tunnel, or would you like to turn back?" And then we said, no, we'll continue down the tunnel. And then it said, are you really sure you wish to continue walking down this tunnel? Yes, yes,
Yeah,
of course. And it turned out that the tunnel made by a giant creature had at the end of it a giant creature,
a giant creature.
which killed us immediately.
Mm.
Mm.
If that wasn't this one, that definitely happened at some point.
It did, yeah. I think it was this one. I just can't remember exactly. But unfortunately, our second attempt at Deathtrap Dungeon ended broadly the same way as the first. I mean, not exactly necessarily, but
Mm.
um, and given that we have now beaten one of the Fighting Fantasy books,
Legitimately.
legitimately beaten, I think we do have a record. We also beat a Cretan Chronicles,
Mm.
so we have had some success, but it is hard to spot amid the horizon to horizon field of failure that it's buried in.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
One death by curse, one death by volcano, one death by uh what's the other one that stands out?
Um, well, cowardice,
Had it there for a
obviously.
minute. Oh yes,
Yeah.
the cowardice, death by cowardice.
Um,
That's a high moment
yeah.
for
Yeah,
all of
that was a
us.
glorious moment.
Mm.
But actually, I have to say, because we remember that one, because we died of ducking, we'll actually remember not to do that next time.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that leaves us because we'd still be blindfolded in an arena fighting other people.
I
Wasn't
mean,
that the situation?
it's
We
entirely
heard some
possible.
footsteps.
I refuse to shake the feeling that it's possible we'd done quite well for the sort of 14 paragraphs we made it through Trial of Champions up to that point. So maybe we'll do worse next time and end up dying before we get to that arena.
Well, yeah, that's very true. That is very true. We may not make that point. Very
So,
likely at this rate.
yes, we have now died of both cowardice and avarice.
Mm.
It is...
A mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag. The next time we do one of these, I don't know exactly when it'll be, but the next time we do one of these, we will have a go once again at Trial of Champions and see if our, as it turns out, fourth attempt to make it through this dungeon across two different books goes any better. At least we can avoid dying of cowardice because we know what we did wrong there. That's about the only one we can remember exactly how we died.
And that was a good one from what I remember. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was a fun story as long as it lasted, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then after that, we'll have to try and not die by volcano. I think that is the next one we have to do after that. But
definitely.
Yeah. Which was the Ewan Slaughter one? Was that Firetop Mountain? Was that the first one?
I don't think it was.
Maybe not. No.
But I can't remember which, if I'm honest. Listen, also that Gremlin family, it was them or me. That's all I'm saying.
They were coming right for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. Okay. So, before we go, we have to talk about tomorrow night because the wonderful Socks, who is in chat insulting us even as we speak, is...
Which bodes well.
Which always bodes well. It's always the kind of thing that cheers up your weekend. Is joining us tomorrow for an episode of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer role-playing game. And we are going to be playing a bit of Buffy Punk, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely. It would be great to have Socks here. It's a great game and it's a good setting to play in. Thoroughly enjoyable.
It's going to be a bit of fun. Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
So we will do that tomorrow evening, usual kind of time, about 11 we'll kick off. So please join us if that remotely interests you. If you're a fan of vampire slaying excitement or cyberpunk kind of environment. So yeah, it's going to be lovely. I think we kick off in a casino, which would be always a good start.
Indeed.
Excellent. So until then, thank you so much for joining us, whether live or on VOD. As always, we hugely appreciate it. Hope you had some fun. And it's time for us to say goodnight. So thank you, Ewan. Good night, sir.
Thank you, Ben. Next time.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.